The dog wouldn't stop barking. Not playful, not excited. Neighbors told him to shut up. But inside the house, the baby had gone quiet. The sound cut through the street like a warning. A yellow Labrador retriever stood on the front steps, barking into the air. One bark, two barks, three. Then a pause, then again. Louder, harsher, desperate. People assumed it was nuisance barking, but it wasn't. It was a countdown, because inside that house, the baby had gone quiet. Not peacefully, not finally asleep, quiet. Wrong quiet. And if the dog stopped barking, no one would know in time. His name was Sunny, the yellow Labrador retriever with soft golden fur, a wide, friendly face, and kind brown eyes that made strangers smile without realizing it. The kind of dog who looked like he belonged on a family calendar. The kind of dog people trusted immediately. Sunny loved everybody. He wagged at delivery drivers. He leaned into neighbors' hands like he'd known them forever. He carried random socks around the house like they were treasure. But there was one person Sunny loved more than anyone. 6-month-old Evan. Evan was new to the world, new to everything, new to Rachel's life too. Rachel, Evan's mom, was in her early 30s, living on the edge of exhausted all the time. Not because she didn't love her son. She loved him so much it scared her. But love didn't pay for daycare. Love didn't stop the bills. Love didn't give her sleep. Rachel had moved into the little rental house 6 months earlier, right after Evan was born. She was a single mother, and her family lived in another state. Friends helped when they could, but most days it was just her, Evan, and Sunny. Sunny had been Rachel's dog before she became a mom. Back then, he was her companion. Now, he was something else. A shadow. A guardian. Sunny followed Evan's stroller on walks like a private security detail. He slept outside the nursery door at night, head down, ears ready. If Evan made even the smallest sound, Sunny lifted his head instantly. Rachel joked about it sometimes.
Totally energized over here.
He thinks he's the babysitter. She'd tell friends on video calls.
Makes me feel so much better.
But she also felt relieved,
Totally energized
like
over
Sunny
here.
was an extra set of eyes she didn't have.
Honestly, seeing him just sitting there makes me feel
That
so much
afternoon,
better.
Evan had been fussier than usual, crying hard, not sick exactly, just restless, miserable, the kind of crying that made your heart race even when you were doing everything right. Rachel bounced him, rocked him, sang the same lullaby twice until her voice cracked.
Sweet boy.
Finally,
Please don't
after
wake up
nearly an
yet.
hour, Evan's eyelids drooped, his tiny body
There you
softened,
go, sweet boy.
his breathing slowed.
Please don't
Rachel
wake up
exhaled
yet.
so deeply, it felt like her lungs had been holding air since morning. She carried Evan into the nursery and laid him gently in the crib. She tucked a soft blanket around him, light, breathable, the kind every parent owns. Sunny sat beside the crib and watched. Rachel whispered, "Okay, please stay asleep, buddy." Then her phone vibrated. A work call. Rachel's job wasn't glamorous. Remote support, constant calls, always on the edge of being replaced. She didn't have the luxury of ignoring it. She stepped into the kitchen, slipped on her headphones, and answered with the brightest voice she could manage. "Hi, yes, I'm here." Sunny stayed behind, as always. At first, everything felt normal. The house quieted, the air settled. Then Sunny lifted his head. Evan usually made little sounds in his sleep. Soft breaths, tiny whimpers, the faint rustle of movement against cotton sheets. Sunny heard nothing. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was empty. Sunny stood, walked to the crib, and looked down. Evan's face looked wrong. Not sleeping wrong. Still wrong. Sunny's tail stopped moving, his ears tilted forward. Then he saw it. The blanket, shifted during sleep, had slipped up. The edge had crept over Evan's mouth and nose, soft fabric sealing in the tiniest breaths until there were none left. Sonny froze. For half a second, the world held its breath with him. Then Sonny barked, once sharp and loud. Rachel didn't respond. Sonny barked again, louder, still nothing. He jumped up, placing his front paws on the crib rail, nudging the blanket with his nose. The crib rattled slightly. Evan didn't move. Sonny barked again, the sound cracking into panic now. In the kitchen, Rachel laughed softly at something the person on the call said. Sonny turned and sprinted out of the nursery. He scratched at the kitchen door, claws scraping the wood.
That sounds perfect, Michael.
Rachel didn't
We can
hear,
circle back on the
headphones on,
logistics during our
voice
sync
steady,
tomorrow.
professional, unaware her entire world was changing behind her.
That sounds perfect, Michael.
Sonny
We can
ran
circle
back to the
on
crib,
logistics during our
barked,
sync tomorrow.
nudged again. Nothing. His body trembled with urgency. Then Sonny made a decision. He ran to the back door, the one Rachel sometimes left unlatched during the day, because Sonny liked to go into the yard. Sonny pushed. The door gave way, and Sonny bolted outside into the afternoon light. What Sonny did next wasn't something a friendly family dog is supposed to do, because he didn't run away. He ran toward the only thing he could think of. People. Sonny sprinted down the sidewalk, barking nonstop. A man watering his lawn frowned. "Hey, control your dog." Sonny didn't even look at him. He ran to the first house and barked at the front steps. No answer. He ran to the next house and barked again. Harder, sharper, like he was trying to push sound through the door. A curtain twitched. No one came out. Sonny whirled around and ran back toward Rachel's house, barking as if to say, "This way, this way." Then he ran forward again, back and forth, back and forth, like a siren that couldn't stop. Neighbors started getting irritated. Somebody shut him up. A woman stepped outside and waved her hands. "Go home, dog." Sonny kept barking, pacing in frantic loops, then sprinting back to Rachel's front door and barking directly at it, as if the door itself had offended him. And then he did something that made the whole situation feel different. Sonny ran toward a woman at the curb, an older woman carrying groceries, and stopped right in front of her. He barked once, then he turned and ran 2 steps, stopped, and looked back. It wasn't random. It was a signal. The woman, Mrs. Collins, paused. She didn't yell. She didn't shoo him. She watched him like she was reading a language most people had forgotten existed. Sonny barked again, then ran toward Rachel's house, stopping every few steps to check if Mrs. Collins was following. Mrs. Collins swallowed, heart suddenly uneasy. Okay, she murmured. "I'm coming." Mrs. Collins thought she was about to find a broken fence or an injured dog. She was not prepared for what waited behind that nursery door. Sonny led her straight to Rachel's front door. He sat, barked once, short, commanding. Mrs. Collins knocked, no answer. She knocked again, louder. Sonny began to whine now, pacing tight circles, nails tapping the porch like a ticking clock. Mrs. Collins tried the doorknob, unlocked. She hesitated only a second before stepping inside. "Hello," she called. The house was too quiet. Sonny didn't go to the kitchen. He ran straight down the hallway. Mrs. Collins followed, her groceries forgotten on the entryway floor. Sonny stopped at the nursery door and barked, one brutal, urgent sound. Mrs. Collins opened it, and her stomach dropped. The baby in the crib wasn't moving. Mrs. Collins didn't think. She acted. She rushed to the crib, yanked the blanket away, scooped Evan up, and pressed her ear close. No breath. Her hands shook, but her training, old, buried but still there, snapped awake like a light turning on. "Call 911!" she screamed into the hallway. A neighbor who'd followed her inside stumbled forward, phone already out. Mrs. Collins lowered Evan onto the nursery floor, tilted his head, and began CPR. Gentle compressions, careful breaths, everything measured in seconds she didn't have. Sonny sat beside them, rigid, eyes locked, as if he refused to blink. 1 second, 2, 3. Then, Evan's body jerked. A cough, a sputter. And suddenly, a sound exploded out of him. Raw, furious, alive. A scream that filled the room like a miracle. Mrs. Collins burst into tears from relief she didn't have time to feel. Sonny exhaled, a long, shaking breath, and stopped barking. Rachel walked out of the kitchen, still wearing her headphones, and realized the entire neighborhood had been listening to her dog. For a reason, sirens arrived within minutes. Paramedics moved quickly, checking Evan's oxygen, examining his color, listening to his lungs. One of them looked at Mrs. Collins and said quietly, "You got here in time?" Another added, "Barely." Rachel appeared in the hallway, phone still in hand, headset still on. Her face was confused at first, like her brain couldn't process why strangers were in her house. Then she saw Evan. Her knees almost gave out. "Evan?" she whispered, voice cracking. The medic turned slightly so she could see her son's chest rising and falling. Alive. Rachel covered her mouth, made a sound that wasn't a word. She collapsed to the floor, shaking. And then she saw Sonny, sitting at the nursery doorway like he always did. Not wagging, not celebrating, just watching, steady and exhausted, like he'd been holding the whole world up with his barking. Rachel crawled to him and wrapped her arms around his neck. "I didn't hear him," she sobbed into his fur. "I didn't hear him." Sonny didn't move away. He leaned into her like he'd been waiting for this moment. Outside, neighbors stood in clusters, quiet now. The same people who'd yelled to shut the dog up were suddenly saying things like, "That dog saved that baby. I can't believe we almost ignored him. Thank God he wouldn't stop." By evening, the story had traveled down the street and into group chats and across social media. By morning, everyone knew. The barking dog wasn't a nuisance. He was the reason a baby was still breathing. Sonny got a new collar later that week, bright yellow with a little tag engraved. Sonny, good boy, true hero. Someone left a brand new dog bed on Rachel's porch with a note, "Thank you for saving him." Rachel kept it. Sonny slept on it that night. For the first time, the street was quiet. Not because Sonny was silenced, but because the danger was gone. Sonny still sleeps outside Evan's room. Same spot, same watchfulness. But now, when he barks, people don't complain. They listen. Because sometimes, the sound everyone tries to ignore is the reason a life continues.